Hello guys! Welcome to my channel. This is Aniceto Nanos, and this is Nanos Music Studio's online lessons. Hello and welcome to the music world. Today, our topic is about whole steps and half steps. Interval is the distance between two notes. I prepared a small piano for demonstration. From Do to Re is an interval. From Do to Mi is what we call the intervals of thirds, because from Si or Do going to Re up to Mi, we are counting 1, 2, 3, 3 notes. From Do to Fa, we call this as the perfect fourth. From Do to Sol, this is the perfect fifth. From Do to La, this is the perfect sixth. And from Do to Ti, this is what we call the major seventh. And from Do going to Do, this is what we call the octave. Moving on, we have two kinds of steps. The first one is half step. What is half step? Half step is the smallest interval in our musical system. Half step is the distance between a key and the next key nearest to it. For demonstration purpose, this is how it works. From Do to Do sharp is a half step. From Do sharp to Re is a half step. From Re to Re sharp is a half step. From Re sharp to Mi is a half step. From Mi to Fa is a half step. Fa to Fa sharp is a half step. Fa sharp to Sol is a half step. Sol to Sol sharp is a half step. Sol sharp to La is a half step. La to La sharp is a half step. La sharp to Ti is a half step. And Ti going to Do is a half step. The next step, we call it whole step. What is whole step? It is twice the distance between a key and the next key nearest to it. Let's try to have some demonstration. Do to Re is a whole step. Re to Mi is a whole step. Fa to Sol is a whole step. Sol to La is a whole step. La going to Ti is a whole step. So how are we going to figure it out if the interval is whole step or half step? For whole step, we can easily identify it if we are going to play, for example, Do going to Re, and we can find a black key in between them. Again, Do going to Re, there is one note lying in between them, which is Do sharp. Moving on to another example, we have Re going to Mi. In between them, there is a black key, which is Re sharp. Moving on to Fa and Sol. At the middle of these two notes, we have one black key lying between them, that is Fa sharp. Sol to La, there is Sol sharp. La to T. In between them, there is La sharp. But not all the time, we are going to find black keys in between the whole step. For example, from Do sharp to Re sharp, in between them, there is one white key, which is Re. So we call this as a whole step. Fa sharp going to Sol sharp, we have one white key lying between them. This is Sol, and it is a whole step. Sol sharp going to La sharp, in between them there is La, and we can call this as whole step as well. Now, how about Mi going to Fa? This is a half step, because if you press Mi and Fa simultaneously at the center, you cannot find any key in between them. So if we're going to identify the Do, Re, Mi, Fa, Sol, La, Ti, Do, so from Do to Re is a whole step, Re to Mi is a whole step, Mi to Fa is a half step, Fa to Sol is a whole step, Sol to La is a whole step, La going to Ti is a whole step, Ti going to Do is a half step. So these notes from Do, Re, Mi, Fa, Sol, La, Ti, Do, we can call this as the scale. Our topic for today is about the major scale. What is the scale? A scale is a succession of 8 tones bearing letter names in alphabetical order, the last tone having the same letter name as the first. The figures 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 are called the degrees of the scale. On the other hand, a major scale is a succession of whole steps and half steps. From the previous video, I discussed already what are half steps and whole steps. In our scale, half steps occur between degrees 3 and 4 and between 7 and 8. Now, let's try to figure it out again with our keyboard. Do, Re, Mi, Fa, Sol, La, Ti, Do. So, from Mi to Fa is a half step. And from Ti going to Do is also a half step. Now, let's try to simplify the 8 tones of the scale. These 8 tones of the scale, we can divide by 2. From degrees 1, 2, 3, and 4. That is from Do, Re, Mi, and Fa. We call it the first tetrachord. Now let's hear how it sounds. Do, Re, Mi, Fa. This is our first tetrachord. Now the second part of the scale, we call it the second tetrachord. That is from degrees 5, 6, 7, and 8. Now let's hear how it sounds. Sol, La, Ti, Do. Now, to better understand how the music works and how we can apply the whole step and half step thing, let's try to work on the first tetrachord. please take note that we are about to digest the first tetrachord and the second tetrachord in a simplified manner by identifying the steps lying on it. Let's start with the first tetrachord. From degrees 1 to 2, that is Do and Re, we have whole step. Moving on, from step or degrees 2 to 3, that is Re and Mi, we have whole step also. Moving on to degrees 3 and 4, that is Mi and Fa, we can see that we have one step here. Again, from degree 1 to degree 2, we have whole step. To degree 2, going up to degree 3, we have whole step also. Third degree to fourth degree, we have half step. Now, let's try to remember this pattern. Whole step, half step. Moving on, the second half of the scale, we have 5th to 6th degree, which is Sol to La. We have whole step. 6th to 7th degree, we have La going to Ti. We have whole step. And moving on to 7th and 8th degree, we have Ti and Do. That is half step. Now, take a closer look what happened. On this second tetrachord, we can find a pattern also of whole step, half step. Let's go back to first tetrachord. First tetrachord, from first, second, third, going to fourth degree, we have whole step, half step pattern. And for the second tetrachord, from 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th degrees, we have whole step, half step pattern also. It simply means that our scale, if it is divided into two, we have patterns of which we can easily identify by its steps. These are whole step, half step thing that we need to remember. And from this pattern, we are about to unveil the beautiful patterns of the major scales from C major up to the last major scale that we can learn from this lesson. Now, just try to remember that our scale, which has 8 tones, it is divided at the center, and that is in between 4th and 5th degree. The first tetrachord and second tetrachord are divided by a whole step. So, if we're going to delete this space, we only have whole step, half step pattern. Whole step, half step. So, the chart shows how a major scale is composed of 2 tetrachords. Each tetrachord is separated by a whole step.
If you like this video, please click the like button below and subscribe for more updates. Don't forget to press the notification as well. Leave your comments and share your experience with this exercise. Thank you and God bless you.